Okay, guys, here's the deal. One of your classmates asked to do some more of the practice final problems, and this video may be a little bit longer than usual, so I'll probably end up redoing it, deleting it, and redoing it in several smaller videos. But hopefully, this helps some of you guys out. So, one of the things definitely on the final, guys, are going to be complex numbers. So on this one, I hope you agree. We're going to use distributive property. I know 2 times -3 is -6. I also know that 2 times 4i is a positive 8i. So again, distributive property will be on the final. Then I'm going to go 3i times -3i, -9i. And then finally 3i times 4i plus 12i squared. Right here is really the only trick to complex numbers. You have to remember that I squared right here means it's going to be a -1 times 12. So basically the whole thing changes to -12 or -12. So as you can see, hopefully, -6 and -12 make -18. 8 minus 9i is -1i. Pause the video if you need to. So not only are you going to have to use distributive property or multiply, you're going to add or subtract at least 1 or 2 complex numbers. Now, the only trick to this one, guys, remember with a minus, distribute the minus. We talked about that in class with problem 1, if you remember, from the SBAC practice problems. So what I really have here is 2 minus 6i. Nothing here is going to change. There's nothing to distribute, no signs to change. But this minus right here, of course, makes it plus 10 and then a minus 4i. And so finishing up, I know 2 plus 10 is 12. I know -6 minus 4i is -10i. There's my answer. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, now this one involves graphing. Guys, remember, when you graph, make a table. There's nice little cool shortcuts, like for example, you gotta recognize that this is vertex form. Okay, this expression right here is vertex form. But as I told you in class, start by whatever makes it 0 in here. In this case, do you agree 3 minus 3 is 0? So that's going to go in the middle of the table. Now, if I'm giving you a multiple choice test, of course, you only need a couple points. Normally, I'll have you do 5 points similar to like this, right? But how about we agree we're just going to do 3 and the 2. And if we match up those 2 points, we know we have the right graph. So let's go ahead and start with plugging in 3. In other words, normally we'd plug in 5, 4, and 1. But let's just do 2 points and see how it works. So I'm going to plug 3 in. And if I put 3 in there, of course I'll have -1/2. 3 minus 3 squared minus 1. 0 squared is 0. Times the -1/2 is still 0. 0 minus 1 is -1. And let's plug in the 2 as well. So we'll have -1/2. 2 minus 3 squared minus 1. Again, all I did was plug the 2 right in there. So we're going to have -1/2. -1 squared minus 1. Well, -1 squared is 1. Times the -1/2 is -1/2. Minus 1 is -1.5. 1.5, or some of you may want to refer to as -3/2 or -1 1/2. But if I match up these 2 points, guys, I'm going to get the graph. So if you look at choice A right here, it's got to be wrong. Why? Because we have 3 -1 right there. That looks good. But 2 -1.5 should be right there. And there's other reasons why that graph doesn't work. It's positive, it goes up. We know a negative means it goes down as well. Let's look at the other graphs. Again, all we have to do is find the one that matches those 2 points. So if we look at B here, 3 positive 1 is there. That can't be right. This one, choice C, has 3 negative 1, and 2 negative 1.5 is right there. So this is really the only one that matches. If we looked at choice D, that one didn't match those same 2 points. Okay? So the bottom line, though, guys, you've got to be good at making tables. You're going to be doing more and more tables as the functions get more complex later on in mathematics, okay? So pause the video if you need to on this one. All right, 16. This is going to be a quick one. Guys, they're asking for the vertex. You guys must know negative b over 2a always gives me my vertex, okay? And so I'm going to plug in the 4. B is 4, in other words. 2 times a, you notice, is negative 2. I'm going to get negative 4 over negative 4, which is positive 1. So as you can see, I'm down to these 2. Now, where did the 3 come from? Very important to know. All I need to do is take my 1, plug it back in to find the y coordinate. So y is negative 2, 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 1. I know 1 squared 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, what about max and min? Well, this, again, is something else I thought I taught you pretty well. See how the parabola is a negative 2x squared. Doesn't a negative x squared always open down? A positive would open up. We don't have that. We have a negative opens down. So there's the vertex. Is that a maximum or minimum value? Hopefully you agree right there is the highest it's going to go. That's why it's a maximum. Pause the video if you need to. Now, the one thing hopefully you learned right here, guys, by the way, is remember to always do a quick sketch if you can, so you can actually see what is going on. Okay? Just want to point that out. All right, let's move on. So what about number 12? Well, we're solving a system here, right? Can't we take this, since it equals y, equal to this, which equals a y? They both equal y. So I'm going to actually use a separate page so I have more room here. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 5 equal to x minus 9, right? Let me be a little bit neater here. And that's a 9. Let me double check. X squared minus 4x minus 5, x minus 9. So all I have to do is solve this. Now, like we talked about in class today, guys, this is a quadratic. To solve it, we must make it equal 0. So how about we minus x both sides? That gets rid of that x there. We add 9 to both sides. That gets rid of that 9. So 0 equals, on the left side, I still have my x squared here. Minus 4 minus 1 is minus 5x. Minus 5 plus 9 is 4. So right here, guys, we could use the quadratic formula. Please practice the quadratic formula, by the way, because remember, sometimes you have no choice but to use the quadratic formula. That being said, let's factor it. Isn't x squared x times x? Isn't the 4 minus 4 times minus 1? Now, why did I do minus 4 minus 1? That gives me the minus 5. Also, the negative 4 times negative 1 gives me the positive 4. That being said, I have it factored perfectly. We should know right there, my solution is 4. Right there, my solution is 1. If you look at the answers, the only one that has 1 and 4 is choice D there. Pause the video if you need to. But guys, right, what you see right here, guys, regardless of how you do on the final, this is one of the most important things we got to make sure you get good at. Can you factor? Can you use quadratic formula? Bottom line, can you find the solution to a quadratic? Okay, let's do a couple more, guys. This one right here, see how it says, let's describe the translation? Translation means, where is one graph relative to the other? How do I shift one graph to the other? Well, how we're going to do this, guys, is we're going to do a quick sketch. I know in this one, -2, you see -4 is my vertex. Again, -2, 0 squared minus 4 is -4. So I'm just going to go to -2, -4. I know there is my vertex. I know it basically opens up like this because it's a positive in front. Let's look at our second function right here in red. Do you agree? 9 minus 9 makes it 0. So plugging in 9, we're going to get 9, 3. So I'm going to go over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. And again, this one I know opens up because it's a positive quadratic there. So how does one compare to the other? Well, it says to start with the black graph right here to the red graph, right? So from here, you can either count up or right first, guys. Just keep track of what direction you're going. I'm going to go across first. So let's see here. Let me use yellow. From here, I know I'm going to go 1, 2, back to the y-axis. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In other words, there's 2 here and there's 9 spaces there, right? So a total of 11 to the right. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'll go back to black here. And then, of course, this vertex is 4 to there, plus another 3 there. So that means this whole distance is 7 up. And if you look at the choices, I'm looking for up 7, 11 to the right. That's why I'm going to pick that answer. So a translation, guys, basically is, how does one graph move to the other? In our case, we had to go 11 right and 7 up. One more, guys. I think that was it. I think I answered every question that your classmate asked of me. So guys, the bottom line is, I hope you watch this video. This is going to help you quite a bit on the final. And I hope you study other videos as well. I would start with the more recent videos. Any video that has IM2 on it, in other words. And I would go all the way back to near the beginning of the school year, around October-ish. That's when we did inverse functions for the first time. And if you know and watch every video on IM2 from now to October, where we have the inverses, guys, you will know basically every single problem on this final. So guys, I hope you study hard. Good luck. I'll see you in class.